Hi, everybody, and thank you for joining us today for the Johns Manville HVAC product webinar. My name is Kim Melton, and I'm going to be the moderator for today's presentation. Before we dive into introductions, I do want to go over a few logistics. First and foremost, if you have any questions or concerns throughout the webinar, you can submit them at any point during the presentation via the Q&A feature, and we're going to address these questions live at the end of the presentation. Now, if you don't see a Q&A to the right of your screen, if you hover over the middle of your screen, you'll see a series of circular icons pop up at the bottom. Select the icon with the ellipsis, that's the 3 dots, and that's going to open a menu with a Q&A at the top of that menu option. If you select the Q&A, it's going to open a dialog box that you can use to submit questions directly to us that we can answer at the end of the presentation. So a quick note before we get started, this webinar is for educational purposes only and shouldn't be used as a substitute for professional engineering design, consultation, or documentation that may be required by building codes, contracts, or even applicable laws. So if you have any questions after the webinar, you can refer to our specific application guidelines and instructions located in the product sections of our website. Additionally, we're going to follow today's webinar with a survey. Now, this is your opportunity to provide us with feedback on how we did today. You can ask any additional questions you may have about the topic of the webinar or even suggest new topics for webinars that you'd like to hear in the future. We're continuously striving to improve and evolve these webinars, so if you have any comments or suggestions as to how we can better accomplish this, or maybe you even feel like we've missed the mark today, we'd encourage you to fill out the survey and give us your feedback, and we use that feedback to improve our webinars and provide the information that has the most value to you in future webinars. Now, this survey is also part of how we deliver the JM experience to you. And the JM experience is based on 4 pillars of the JM culture, and that's people, passion, perform, and protect. And we believe it's critical to hear and understand and respond to your needs in order to deliver the best interaction to you. So we offer webinars like this one to help educate the market and offer a tool and a resource for you and your business. But this isn't just a one-way street, so your feedback is a pretty key component to helping us evolve to better meet your needs. Also, we're frequently asked whether or not we send out these presentations upon their conclusion. While we don't send out the presentation itself, we will post a recording of it online for you to watch at your leisure or share with your colleagues. And this ensures that you can have the presentation within its full context. And we send an email to you directly when it's live on our website. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Matt Yenrick and Brennan Hall for introductions.
Thanks, Kim. Good afternoon. My name is Matt Yenrick, and I'm the Eastern Regional Sales Manager within Johns Manville's Performance Materials business. I have 6 years experience here at JM, 10 years experience within the HVAC and mechanical industry. One thing I'd like to notate, here at Johns Manville, we strive to be a solutions provider within the industry and with our customers, while providing new products and improvements, of which we will discuss throughout this webinar. Next, I'd like to introduce Brennan Hall.
Thanks, Matt. Hi, everybody. My name is Brennan Hall. I am the Senior HVAC Product Manager here at Johns Manville. I've been with JM for almost 5 years, really 4 3/4, getting close to my 5th year anniversary here. I've been in the HVAC industry for 11 total years, and I sit on several different councils within the industry. I'm on the SPIDA, which is the Spiral Duct Manufacturers Association Board of Directors. I'm also on the NAMA Air Handling Council for Johns Manville, which is the North American Insulation Manufacturers Association. And then I'm also our premier partner liaison, and I was just named to the associate member committee for SMACTA, which is the Sheet Metal and Air Conditioning National Association. So I try to do a lot of things within the industry to not only promote our products, but just solutions within the industry and how fiberglass is very beneficial to solving any needs that you might have for insulating your ductwork. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and kind of start us in what we're going to cover today. So the 4 really high-level topics that we're going to cover today is kind of the framework of HVAC insulation systems, really the basics of kind of how insulation works and why you need it in your system. The second thing we're going to go to is we have a very broad HVAC product portfolio, a lot of different solutions, a lot of different iterations of our products here at Johns Manville. We're going to try to touch on a lot of those solutions to make sure you guys have the best knowledge and the most up-to-date knowledge about our product line. Matt will then go through a lot of our new products. Innovation has been a huge focus here at JM, especially over the last 4 or 5 years. We've got a lot of new products that we've launched, whether it be for code or aesthetics, things like that. So Matt will take you through some of those towards the latter part of this presentation. And at the very end, Kim will come back and she'll give you all the additional resources that we have that tie into our website, our source platform for getting information, all of our spec information, all the resources that you need around specifying material and making technical decisions around our product. So with that, we're going to start with the framework of a basic HVAC system. So really HVAC system in a nutshell. So What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw your attention to the figure on the right here, and I want to start kind of, if you can find the letter B there in that system, that's really kind of your central air handling equipment, kind of the heart, if you will, of the system. That's where you're really going to have everything happening. What's going to happen there is, in the system here, the letter A just to the left of the central air handling equipment is going to be your fresh air intake. That's going to bring air from outside. And what that's going to do is it's going to mix inside that air handler with air that's coming back or returning from the occupied space from letter D. And it's going to heat or cool that air, and it's going to push it out down the trunk line duct, which is the diagram noted by the C. And that's going to push it all the way down the system, and it's then going to tap out into each individual area within the room and all the occupied spaces. And then that air will be returned back through the D section here, which is all your return air stuff, and kind of brought back in and recirculated within all your ductwork. All of these parts, A, B, C, D, all these parts of the system can be insulated using Johns Manville products, and making sure you pick the right insulation for the application is really important. Insulation material selection. So when you're designing a duct system, it's really critical to understand the criteria required for selecting your insulation. So what you see here in this diagram is really kind of the 8 common needs that insulation is typically used to meet the requirements in a duct system. 3 of the most common needs that are met by insulation are we'll start with energy conservation, or really your thermals, making sure you're getting your R value or your resistance to heat flow to meet that code that's being asked of you. The second one is noise reduction or acoustical values, eliminating crosstalk or fan noise or noises that travel down the duct system. That's really important feature of insulation as well. And really the third thing on here that I'd point out is condensation control, and making sure that you're delivering that air that's coming off of your air handler to the occupied space, and you're not creating any condensation issues for the insulation or for the system itself. So lots of really good reasons why you need to insulate. So Johns Manville's HVAC insulation solution. So we have 4 types of products that are offered, and I'm going to start in the top left-hand corner with duct wrap. Duct wrap is a fiberglass blanket that is wrapped around the outside of a sheet metal duct or plenum. The top right-hand side is what we call our micro-layer duct board. Duct board is a flat 4x10 sheet with special tooling that you, upon fabrication and installation, create grooves in the material. You bring the board together from a flat sheet into a square or rectangular duct. You seal the seam, and you get a completely closed and sealed system that has a vapor barrier, acoustical control, and a product that's kind of an all-in-one system. No sheet metal needed there. On the bottom left-hand corner is our duct liner product. We have a lot of different iterations of duct liner. Here at Johns Manville, duct liner is a material that goes on the inside airstream surface of a sheet metal duct, and it is mechanically fastened and glued down to the metal. That's the number 1 reason for duct liner usage is acoustical control. And then in the bottom right-hand corner is our flexible duct glass. So we produce the fiberglass that you can see here in the picture, the white fiberglass. We produce that. That's wrapped around an inner core, and then it is put inside of a jacketing, and we provide that to some partners that we have in the HVAC industry. So those are the 4 kind of HVAC insulation solutions that we offer here at Johns Manville. So now we're gonna start off with external duct insulation. External duct insulation, which we really more commonly refer to as duct wrap in this industry, is ideal for thermal control and energy efficiency. It does a great job of controlling condensation due to the factory-applied FSK vapor barrier, which is the silver barrier on the outside of duct wrap. It comes in several different thicknesses and different densities, and all those are designed to achieve specific R values that you're looking for. And one thing of note here, if you look at the screen and the 3 topics that we're kind of hitting on with external, one of the things that I don't bring up here is the duct wrap does not really have any impact on acoustics by and large. It really goes on the outside of a sheet metal duct, and that's where it's applied, and it really doesn't have a lot of acoustical benefits when it's coming, trying to control acoustics. You're going to want to look more for a duct liner or some sort of duct board product when you're looking at acoustical control. Our duct wrap insulation. So Johns Manville offers several different types of duct wrap. The most common is our Microlite FSK product. It's a formaldehyde-free fiberglass blanket in the top left-hand picture on your screen. It's a tried and true solution. It's got a silver foil scrimcraft vapor barrier, which is that foil facing that you can see there in the photo. On the right-hand side, we have our Microlite PSK, our white product, as well as our black product. These are 2 different types of facing. It's a poly scrimcraft facing that's put on with a matching tape for aesthetic applications, as well as controlling condensation when you're looking for a little bit more of a finished look in some sort of exposed ceiling in a building. And then the third product is in the middle here is our Microlite Standard, which is just an unfaced type product. It's just a basic fiberglass blanket. We can also add a vinyl facing to that, so just kind of a utilitarian type product that we offer. So we're going to go a little bit deeper here and dive kind of into the products and look a little closer at each of the individual characteristics and give you a little bit better understanding of what each one of these are. So we're going to first start on the Microlite FSK, and the first thing that we're going to hit on is kind of the density, or commonly referred to as the PCF, on some of our data sheets. And what that has is a lot of times you reference duct wrap by the type. Type 75, type 100, type 150. That type refers to the density of the product. Type 75 is a 3/4 pound product. Type 100 is a 1 pound product. Type 150 is a 1.5 pound product. So density comes into play there when you're referencing the type of duct wrap that you're using. All duct wrap that we produce is typically 48 inches wide. There's different roll lengths based on the thickness. We offer thicknesses from 1.5 all the way up to our new 4.4 inch product, and several different sizes in between. Those thicknesses all tie to your installed R value. So for example, the 1.5 inch type 75 duct wrap that we offer ties to the R4.2 installed. The same thing if you look all the way to 3 inch ties to the R8.3 installed. The facing type, at least with the Microlite FSK or foil scrim craft, that is a layer of foil that is then in turn laminated or glued together with a scrim reinforced yarn and a piece of craft paper. That comes in a giant roll. It goes into our manufacturing process, and then it's then adhered to the fiberglass substrate, and then it is rolled up into the roll that you see there in the photo. A lot of our products have recycled content, Green Guard Gold formaldehyde-free options, and really the Microlite FSK is the workhorse product in the industry. It's kind of 99% of the time really what you're going to see and what everyone out there in the marketplace is typically using. The second product here is our Microlite White and Black PSKs. The same thing here, same type of densities. We have a couple different thicknesses we offer it in. Really the reason for the poly scrim craft facings is an aesthetic application where you might be trying to specify a building where you're looking to match the walls or the ceilings, pipe insulation that's adjacent to it. You might be in a dark space where there's not a lot of light and you don't want something to show up as silver, so we have a black product for that. It's really an aesthetic application. It's kind of a new product offering for us that Matt will talk about later in the presentation. And then our Microlite Standard product, as I mentioned, it's an unfaced fiberglass blanket, a couple different densities. We can face it with vinyl. Goes into a lot of custom applications. We'll see it used from anywhere from pole barns to chicken coops to duct applications. It's just kind of a very utilitarian fiberglass blanket that people tend to use out there in the market space. So we're going to move on to duct wrap installation. So what I want to do here is I want to kind of draw your attention to the photo on the right here. Kind of gives you a very basic look at what Microlite FSK looks like up close. So you've got, the first thing is obviously the fiberglass, which is shown here in the white fiberglass blanket there. That is then in turn adhered to our foil scrim craft vapor barrier, which is the foil picture that you can see there. And then we have the 2-inch staple flap. So we manufacture all of our products with a 2-inch overhanging staple flap. So as you pull two sections of duct wrap together, it allows you to join and bring those two pieces together. If we now go over to the left-hand side, you're kind of seeing some pictures of some installers applying Microlite duct wrap. This is a very large duct in this picture. But really when you talk about installing Microlite duct wrap, the ducts need to make sure that they're clean and dry. You need to make sure you're tightly sealed at all your joints and seams. You need to make sure you install the wrap in accordance with the instructions so that the compression of the insulation is very controlled. The installed R value is based on the installation of the product over sealed sheet metal ductwork with the average installed thickness at 75% of nominal thickness. That means that you want no more than 25% compression of the fiberglass. When you're kind of stretching out and doing your stretch out dimensions, there's different size ducts to vary on what the stretch out dimensions are or the layout that's needed. We have all of those stretch out dimensions on our data sheets, and we also put it on every individual package of duct wrap that you might buy or use in the market. When you're installing the duct wrap, you always want to install it with the foil facing toward the outside, and you want to tightly butt the insulation seams together. That 2-inch staple flap must completely overwrap the other side of the facing as it comes together when you're wrapping around a piece of ductwork. You want to make sure that you don't excessively compress the duct wrap at the corners of a rectangular duct. You don't want to over compress that, which will degrade the R value that you're looking for there. And then you want to make sure that all of your joints have been stapled approximately 6 inches on center with outward clenching staples. You then in turn need to seal all the seams and all the joints with a pressure sensitive tape that matches the facing to make sure you have a nice finished look. So with that, we get a lot of questions, very common questions that come into our technical hotline, which is a great resource. If you don't have that, Kim will provide you guys that information later. But one of the most common questions we get is, can I paint duct wrap? Painting is an interesting piece when it comes to duct wrap. Duct wrap has a flame spread index rating of 25 or less and a smoke developed index rating of 50 or less per ASTM E84, which is the standard method for surface burning characteristics of building materials. The performance characteristics of the duct wrap are really expected to remain constant for the life of the products. But if you decide you're going to paint it for any reason, we don't test or evaluate any of the paints that might be used on the impact of the ASTM E84 surface burning test. So we receive a UL rated product and a UL received rated listing, and if you paint it for desired aesthetic reasons, we don't know what paint that you're going to be offering or what paint you're going to be using, and therefore we can't say that it's basically going to void our warranty if you paint the duct wrap, because we've never tested that composite material in that test environment. So you got to make sure that you're going to check with the fire marshal depending on what you're painting it. Now, we did launch our white PSK product and our black PSK product because the two most commonly asked for colors to paint duct wrap are white and black. So we do now have both solutions. So if you're looking to paint something, I would encourage you to, especially if it's white and black, look at our white and black offering to see if that's something that you could use and substitute in place of that product. The second thing is, what kind of staple should I use? This is really important and critical during the installation of duct wrap. You want to make sure you use an outward clenching staple. If you use a straight staple or a staple that's commonly used like for paper on your desk where it inward clenches, a lot of times what that has a tendency to do is shoot right straight through the FSK vapor barrier as you're stapling those two sections together. You want to make sure your installer is using an outward clenching staple so it goes through and grabs onto the other adjacent facings that you're kind of stapling together. So you really want to make sure you're using an outward clenching staple when you're doing installation of duct wrap. And then the last question that we get a lot is pinning required on ductwork, or do I need to adhere the fiberglass to the ductwork with some sort of adhesive? So it's a two-part question, and I'll answer it in a two-part answer. Insulation on the undersides of ducts that are spanning 24 inches or greater need to be secured with mechanical fasteners or a speed clip that are about 18 inches on center. So when you penetrate that FSK facing, that vapor barrier, you're going to create a hole with a mechanical pin, and you've got to make sure you go back and seal over that, whether that's with a mastic or one of the tapes that are offered for the solution on duct wrap. You've got to make sure you go through that. All those vapor barrier penetrations can cause condensation issues, so you want to make sure you go over that and cover those pins up. As far as using adhesive to adhere fiberglass to ductwork, we've gotten this question a lot recently as well. We do not recommend using adhesive to attach your fiberglass to the ductwork with any sort of adhesive coverage. Again, it kind of ties back to the flame and smoke spread index, the 2550 rating that we get on our products. When you start adding in a glue, we don't know if that glue is flammable or not, so it can basically ruin the product warranty and the UL rating if you start using adhesive in that application. The other thing that could impact it when you're using adhesive is, I talked earlier about having less than 25% compression to reach your installed R values. If you start gluing that together, you're going to start compressing that fiberglass down, and there's a real good chance you're going to end up going past the R value compression that you're really looking for. So you want to be careful when doing both of those things, and we do have several technical bulletins that you can reference that we have available through our technical line if you need that information. So we're going to change gears and shift to duct liner and start into that product line. Duct liner is an insulation solution that's really used on the inside of a sheet metal duct. Duct liner provides a great acoustical value as well as some thermal and energy efficiency. On our product in particular, we have a proprietary permacoat coating that has water repellency and inhibits microbial growth and really helps with the durability of our product in a harsh shop environment. And that's going to be on our airstream surface side, which is directly facing or touching the air as it moves down that ductwork system. So these are really the four type of rectangular duct insulation solutions that JM has to offer. We have our workhorse product in the top left-hand corner, which is our LINACOUSTIC RC product. In the top left-hand corner, right-hand side is our LINACOUSTIC RC HP product for spec-driven, density-driven type specifications. In the next, on the bottom left here, we have our LINACOUSTIC R300 plenum board. It's a rigid duct liner board used in plenums where a rolled product isn't going to work and you need a rigid board solution to line your duct or plenum system. And then in the bottom right is our LINATEX product, which is a long fiber textile product where it's very density dependent on getting your R value. So we have lots of different offerings within the duct liner family. So digging into that duct liner product line for our rectangular duct. So on the far left-hand side is our LINACOUSTIC RC. What's really great about our products, and I'll start with the fiberglass itself, we use a proprietary process that's called pot and marble, where we physically make marbles, just as you would think a marble would look, and we produce that product, and then we bring that through a large superheated pot. We strain those individual fibers of glass down. It goes and hits a large burner, and it's then in turn blown out and flame attenuated and collected on a chain. It's very consistent. It gives us great density distribution, and it's something that we've really hung our hat on for a long time within the duct liner product line. RC material comes in a roll, just as you see in the photo, and we make thicknesses from 1/2 inch all the way up to 3 inches. And the thermal performance, or your R value, the resistance to heat flow basically, ties into each thickness. So 1/2 inch is R2.2, 1 inch is R4.2, and so on. Duct liner has a couple products configurations, the way they look. You have a glass mat or a fiberglass mat base, which in turn is adhered or melted into a fiberglass mat airstream surface. And then we take on the RC product, we coat that product on both the edges to contain the fibers on the edges, as well as the airstream surface side, providing water repellency features, durability, and antimicrobial properties with that product. It's great at NRC, or your noise reduction coefficient. It's a really good solution for acoustics. And the RC product is really a workhorse product for us. It's the majority of what we push out into the market and what's utilized in the market today. The second product here is our LINACOUSTIC RC HP. Very same characteristics to our RC product. We make it to a little bit higher density, which gives us a slightly higher R value and a little bit better noise reduction coefficient. And it's great when you're looking for a density-driven specification where performance is something that you're looking for. We like a 2-pound or a 3-pound type density specification. I'll talk to density in a little bit here, but it's a great product for that type of application. The R300 product is a rotary made, we make it the same way cotton candy would be made at the state fair. It's a 3-pound board. We can make it from 1 inch all the way up to 4 inches thick, and the corresponding R values that tie to it. We do have a coated airstream surface on that product as well, and it gets used in all kinds of applications, from not only regular ductwork and plenums, but we see it a lot in movie theaters or recording studios, things like that. It'll get covered with fabric, things to kind of hide it and give it that look that you're looking for maybe in a church, things like that. And then the last product here is our LINATEX product. It's a long fiber textile product. It comes in a roll form, and this product is where density does come into play. Type 150 is 1.5 pounds. Type 200 is a 2-pound. Type 300 is a 3-pound product. We can make it in different thicknesses. The R values are slightly less based on the density. So if you need to really pay attention if you're going to use a textile fiber. The R values are not quite the same as a pot and marble type product. So it's density dependent on getting and reaching those necessary R values. We see it as spec driven. There's still some niche markets that utilize that product, but that's our fourth offering relative to rectangular duct solutions. As far as installation goes, duct liner comes in a lot of different roll forms, a lot of different widths, a lot of different thicknesses, and really those widths of duct liner tie into the sheet metal fabrication of itself. So the type of transverse duct connection that's being made, where those two sections of duct come together, really dictates the width of the liner that you're going to need, whether it's a slip and drive connection or a TDC connection. The type of sheet metal connection dictates the type of insulation width that you're going to be using. So in terms of installation bodies, so name of the North American Insulation Manufacturers Association and SMACNA, the Sheet Metal and Air Conditioner National Association, both publish and provide a lot of industry standards and guidelines for things like mechanical fastening, nosings, glue applications. They give pretty much anything that you might need or think about needing relative to the installation of duct liner products. They typically cover that in those guides that they both put out and publish. What you can see here on the left-hand side, the top picture is an image or a snapshot of kind of after the duct liner has been applied to a sheet metal piece on a coil line. What you're seeing here is the product has been laid down on a flat piece of sheet metal, it's been glued to the metal, and then those pins are being driven into the product and mechanically holding that down with a weld pin. The bottom section there, they'll typically bring that duct a little bit further down that coil line. It'll then in turn go through a brake. That brake will turn it into an L section in this scenario, and those two sections will be put together to create, two L sections will basically come together to create your rectangular duct. So some common questions that we get relative to duct liner. As I mentioned before, we get a lot of questions around, is density important in duct liner? And the fact of the matter is, it changed a long time ago. Really, if you go back in 1986, the National Insulation Manufacturers Association and ASTM, who is the body that certifies a lot of the products, recognized that all duct liners were not created the same, so they kind of tried to rectify that by approving a new standard for duct liner selection, which is ASTM C1071, which is the standard specification for fiberglass duct lining insulation. And what that new standard did back in the 80s was allow for you to kind of create a specification that you no longer really needed density as a required attribute of the product. The performance-based ASTM C1071 removed the guesswork really from the selection of the duct liner system and allowed you as the engineer or the contractor or even the building owner the freedom to kind of focus on the duct liner performance itself rather than the density, meaning you could write a spec based around an NRC acoustical performance need, a thermal performance need, corrosive potentials, fiber erosion and resistance, surface burning characteristics, and other key critical performance things that kind of go into it. So what's really interesting is so hey, you know, Brennan, you're telling me that this was changed in 1986. You know, why do we kind of still see these come through? And the fact of the matter is, a lot of the master specs that are out there don't get updated. Technology evolves. Think about your phone. The same phone that you had in 2000 is not the same phone that you had in 2019. Things evolve, technology changes. We found ways as the fiberglass industry to find better solutions to give you better R values without tying it to density. So if you're seeing density specs or you still have writing density-driven specs, I would encourage you to look for our specification or update and find a way to find a better solution for what you're looking for there. The second thing is our permacoat coating, and is it important? We get a lot of questions around that as well. I believe that it's very, very important. Our permacoat coating is a proprietary coating. We put it on the airstream surface of our duct liner. We have, if you look at our product data sheet, we have a water repellency test. So if you get incidental moisture that's spitting off of your coil, that's kind of accumulating on the surface, you don't want a ton of condensation in your system, obviously, but anything that's incidental moisture contact, it will actually repel it on the airstream surface and allow it to dry out without penetrating into the fiberglass itself. It also inhibits mold growth, and one of the best things about it is it just gives you a nice durable surface in the shop environment. You saw that picture with all the L sections of ducts stacked up and kind of standing there. As those sharp points in the metal kind of reach into it, you don't want to have to go back and destroy the surface of your airstream. So I think the coating is very, very important in itself. And then the last thing is how do we ensure quality control and make sure our insulation is a consistent thickness, right? So what's really great about Johns Manville is we're very vertically integrated from a QC standpoint. We produce all of our FSK facings. We produce all of our glass mat facings. We produce all the fiberglass, the marbles. We control a lot of the raw materials ourselves internally. So it gives me the ability as the product manager to kind of go upstream and downstream to see what you're seeing in the field as well as what we did, you know, back in the raw material manufacturing process. So I can help control a lot of that stuff, and it's a really great benefit to me. And then around insulation thickness, we make our pot and marble technology duct liner. It's been around for a long time. We make it very, very consistent across the entire width. It's a fairly slow process, but it really gives us a great amount of control around the density in the product. You'll see all of our products are pretty much right on the thickness that you're requiring or asking, very little variation. So really nice. The pot and marble process is a really great benefit to our products. So we just talked about rectangular stuff. I want to kind of get into and shift gears to spiral and some of the oval solutions that we have. We have three solutions, really. You have our Spiracoustic Plus product in the upper left-hand corner. You have our Spiral SG, which is the yellow blanket on the inside and a double-wall duct. And then you have our Microlite Standard, which is also on our duct wrap portfolio, but it shows up sometimes as well in insulating double-wall spiral pipe. When you look at these three very different options, the first one here is our Spiracoustic Plus. It's a rotary-made product, meaning kind of like cotton candy on a board line. And what that is it's a 4x10 sheet that comes with a factory fabricated kerf cut. We groove our board very specific in our manufacturing facility down in Cleveland, Texas. The board comes in 1 inch, 1.5 inch, and 2 inch thickness, tying to your corresponding R values of R4.3 up to 8.4. We have a couple different product configurations and different types of kerf cuts, our VSD or very small diameter, our SD or small diameter, or our LD or large diameter. And then it also comes with our permacoat coated surface, and it's a great solution to reduce weight, acoustics. It's a super great product, especially for large stadium applications where you're hanging large diameter ducts very high up in the air. It really reduces the weight of the system itself. Our Spiral SG product is double wall fiberglass blanket, comes in 1 inch all the way up to 4 inches thick. We measure that in K value, which is the inverse of R. It's just a different way of how you look at a fiberglass blanket from a thermal performance and different densities that we utilize. We can go from 36 inches all the way up to 72 inches. Then it's spec driven. There's a double wall spiral duct has been a tried and true solution for years and years in the market, and it's out there. It's a great solution, and we have an offering for both. And that's really kind of the same thing as our Microlite Standard product. What's unique about our Microlite Standard product for insulating double wall spiral pipe is we actually can pre-slit those into 9-inch or 12-inch widths, and a lot of guys use what's called a candy cane option, where they spin the inner metal core and allow that 12-inch or 9-inch slit to kind of wrap around that and, in essence, candy cane the sheet metal duct. A little bit more about our Spiracoustic Plus. It's a single wall system, which means 1 layer of metal, 1 layer of insulation. We do all of our factory-owned kerf cuts. We QC check everything. Everything comes out standard factory applied. Nothing is done from the cutting fabrication piece of the product in the field. The board is very consistent in its thickness and in its R value, making sure you're getting all of those, the R value that you're needing. Great acoustics and condensation control. It does have our microbial coating on it, as well as the water repellency tied into it. It's great for large diameter ducts. And the VSD sizing chart, VSD, SD, LD, depending on the size or diameter of the duct you're using, dictates the cut that you're going to need for the product. So VSD is, we measure that out at pi, the distance between the cuts. SD, or LD is at pi, I'm sorry. SD and VSD are half of pi. On the VSD, we use an extra blade to kind of get some of that material out to allow it to roll up to a little bit tighter diameter. So there's a whole lot of information around this on our website. We got a lot of training videos, installation videos. There's a lot of resources where you can get information around Spiracoustic Plus. And then the double wall products, our Spiral SG and our Microlite Standard products, very tried and true performance. You have that inner layer of metal wrapped with a fiberglass blanket, then in turn put inside of the outer shell. You know, you got to be careful. Sometimes if you're not doing it right, you can compress that insulation, gravity kind of dropping down on that fiberglass and compressing it. You don't want to get that compression, making sure that the contractor is using spacers of the appropriate connector, flange system, what have you. It is a little bit heavier than Spiracoustic Plus, but it's a great solution, and we have products to meet the needs for both of the applications. And then some of the questions that we commonly get around spiral duct, we get a lot of people asking, you know, can I V-groove duct board and kind of get the same results? And in theory, yes, you can do a V-groove, but we don't recommend that. The Spiracoustic Plus product that we have has been around for about 20 years. It's specifically engineered for this application. We've tested it. It's got no airstream glass mat surface that can delaminate like ductboard in a system. It's got a controlled fabrication process in our manufacturing facility. We have a full product warranty on it. If you use our Spiracoustic Plus system tied with our Super Seal products, it's a really nice product. It's got one size fits many different solutions. You're not having to change things out and groove it to fit a certain diameter. So it really just is it's a nice product that we have, that we've tested to all the needed standards, that's been around for a long time, that's been a proven solution in the market space. Second question is the difference between the VSD, SD, and LD cuts. I mentioned this before. It's very small diameter, and large diameter. Depending on the thickness of the board and the diameter of the insulated pipe that you're looking to do, like VSD, I believe at 1 inch thick, we state 8 inches up to 16 inches, really kind of move up from there. Then I think 18 to 32 or 36 for the SD, and then 36 and above goes to LD. So all of that's outlined in all of our literature. You can find that very easily. And then, should I use a double wall or a single wall system? It's really up to you. Double wall's been around for a long time. It's tried and true. Spiracoustic has also been around for a long time. It's a great solution. As Matt mentioned, we try to be an insulation solutions provider, and we provide anything that you might need to meet all these applications. So we're really proud of the spiral duct offering that we have here at Johns Manville. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to ductboard and let Matt run with that.
Thanks, Brennan. Ductboard is a product that helps provide true comfort within a home. Comfort can have a lot of different definitions. It could be what you feel, what you hear, what you see, and even what you don't hear. Ductboard is a great flagship product here at Johns Manville that comes in 4-foot by 10-foot sheets or 4-foot by 8-foot sheets and can be fabricated into an actual HVAC duct itself. In addition, Johns Manville's ductboard provides tremendous thermal control within a home or light commercial space. It's energy efficient with virtually zero air leakage. It provides acoustical control with sound absorption, and it's extremely lightweight, making it an ideal solution for residential and light commercial applications. JM's ductboard insulation. Johns Manville offers 4 key ductboard options for many different application requirements in the 4x10s and the 4x8s we previously discussed, and these come with shiplaps and/or butt edges. The first product there is our matte face micro air ductboard. This is what we call our MAD board. This is our workhorse product similar to the FSK duct wrap, and we'll get into more details around this product. Super Duct RC is essentially our MAD board with an additional add to it with JM's exclusive permacoat coating that Brennan talked about around our liner products, and that helps provide a more durable airstream surface. Our third product, Micro Air LP board, is a low pressure board. This is for low pressure systems. We test that to a max air velocity of 2,000 feet per minute, and this is more for the manufactured housing and modular housing segments. The fourth product, diffuser board. This is a duct board that's been created primarily for diffusers and register boxes within the HVAC system. Ductboard comparison. So JM's 4 ductboard options presented become the actual duct itself once fabricated. This provides tremendous thermal performance with virtually zero air leakage. That's tremendous. It's virtually zero air leakage. Also, the acoustical benefits of this product are tremendous. We'll talk about the NRCs, and it provides a vapor barrier. All of Johns Manville's ductboards are composed of strong glass fibers bonded with a thermosetting resin. That's how they're manufactured. As Brennan indicated before, Johns Manville is vertically integrated as we manufacture our own FSK and glass mat facings, which are key components and features of our ductboard products here at Johns Manville. Let's get to the first column here. As you see, a lot of these graphs are very similar in nature, and they coincide with the thickness and thermal performances. But the matte-faced and micro-air ductboard, regarding all of our boards, we have an FSK that's laminated to the exterior surface of the board with an airstream surface. For example, with MAD board, we have a black glass mat facing that has an EPA-registered antimicrobial applied during manufacturing on the facing to help prevent mold growth. Regarding this product with the thickness and R value, as with liner, 1 inch equals R4, 1.5 inches is R6, and the max temperature ranges for this product go up to 250 degrees Fahrenheit. One of the key indicators on here for us when we go and talk to engineers is the NRCs. We get asked a lot about acoustics, which is essentially sound absorption. At 1.5 inches thick for our MAD board, you got a 0.85 NRC. By the way, the number 1 indicates almost perfect absorption, so that's pretty good sound absorption. We talked about the product configuration of fiberglass with the core. You got a fiberglass matte face that we manufacture in-house along with the standard FSK. There is some recycled content to this product with 13%, and it does come with a shiplap and or bud edge. The second column is our Super Duct product. This product's used in high-end residential homes with extra protection around moisture and durability due to the permacoat acrylic coating applied on the top of the glass mat facing for the Airstream surface. One of the key differences, though, between this and the MAD board is essentially when you look at the NRCs. That surface coating that we apply adds an additional benefit at a 0.90 NRC, with 1 being a perfect absorption. The third product there is Micro Air LP. That's our low pressure board. These are used for low pressure systems for manufactured housing, modular homes, RVs, boats, buses, etc. And again, we test this up to a maximum air velocity of 2,000 feet per minute. Regarding this product, as you notice, it's not an inch thick, it's 13/16. That thermal performance is a 3.5 with the maximum temperature range of 250 degrees Fahrenheit. As you see with the product configuration, the core is fiberglass and it can come with an FSK or it can be unfaced. And there's no shiplaps attached to that product. The fourth product is diffuser board. It's a 4-pound density product. It is a black colored Airstream surface to minimize the visibility of the board at the diffuser and register boxes. This is critical with duct board. In the past, a lot of duct boards were yellow or just the color of the fiberglass. And a lot of people didn't like seeing that when looking up into ducts. So that's where the glass mat, the black glass mat got introduced, because essentially when you're looking into that duct or that register box, you don't want to see the fiberglass. The male and female shiplap. So Johns Manville's male and female shiplaps help with ensuring a proper closure for a ductboard system. JM's ductboard features a factory applied and molded shiplap as seen in the photos, the male and female shiplap. Please note JM forces density during the manufacturing process to the edges of our ductboard where you get a molded shiplap with the male and female there. You see how it's compressed, and that helps secure the closure of the system. It's almost like it's interlocking when you put them together. Furthermore, a ductboard system, when it's properly installed, you can expect and anticipate tremendous thermal control with virtually zero air leakage. Johns Manville Super Duct RC is essentially our MAD board, as we discussed, that features our exclusive reinforced coating system along with the glass mat facing to provide high quality finished product for a long-term setup with great energy efficiency, acoustical control, and great thermal performance. In addition, Super Duct RC offers water repellency features and slightly better acoustics than the standard MAD board that we just discussed. Regarding high-end homes or light commercial applications, Super Duct would be the product of choice at Johns Manville as it offers better features and benefits than our standard MAD board. Lastly, this product is spec-driven, mostly in humid climates, such as the state of Florida. We see that down there a lot. We see this product spec down there quite a bit, and that's due to its properties around water repellency. Ductboard fabrication. So ductboard fabrication is also known as modular duct construction. And modular duct construction is a concept that represents one of the most basic differences between fiberglass ductwork and sheet metal ductwork. The practice of modular ductwork construction incorporates design, layout, detailing, fabrication, and installation. In addition, ductboard can be fabricated using specially designed hand tools or via a ductboard grooving machine to create an actual duct, which there's some pictures here on this slide. The top right is essentially a Glassmaster machine that you would use to groove ductboard. If you're a contractor that you're using a lot of ductboard for projects, that's more than likely something you're going to see either at their shop or at a local supply house that's being offered to contractors to use. In addition, down in the bottom right, those are hand tools. Those are Amcraft hand tools. You can also buy Glassmaster. The far left picture shows a gentleman removing fiberglass from a shiplap cut, of which has been grooved to help form into a rectangular or square duct. And again, this is from a 4x10 sheet or even a 4x8 sheet of ductboard. The duct, after grooving, though, is stapled via the FSK staple flap with outward clenching staples that Brennan discussed for duct wrap, very similar setup there. And then you seal that with a UL 181 pressure-sensitive tape, and you squeegee it down as the person's doing there with that plastic squeegee to ensure a tight seal so there's no loss in energy. Regarding additional fabrication training, I would challenge everyone on the call, check out NAMA's website. They provide hands-on training courses throughout the year. You have to go online and find out where they are and sign up for them, but they're a tremendous educational opportunity. In addition, we at Johns Manville have subject matter experts who can provide and teach ductboard fabrication training upon request. And lastly, just a plug for ASHRAE coming up here in February 3rd through the 5th in Orlando. We will be performing duct fabrication as we have the past couple of years at our booth. So please feel free to stop by. We'd love to spend some time and talk more about ductboard. So Brennan, what does type 475 and type 800 mean when referencing ductboard?
Sure, I'm glad to see you still need my knowledge. That's nice to know. So type 475 and type 800, they refer to the flexural rigidity, which is really defined as the force required to bend a non-rigid structure. So it's really the resistance of a structure while bending it. So the 475 or the 800 ties into the duct reinforcement and the stiffener schedule that you might need if you're using it in a light commercial type application, things like that. So it's tied to the flexural rigidity of the product or the EI rating.
Sounds good, sounds good. The second question on this slide, how is ductboard packaged? Well, at Johns Manville, we package ductboard in two different ways. Number one, you can get pallets or you can get cartons. If you're a contractor that's using a ton of ductboard for projects, like specifically, let's call out Florida, that's where we sell a tremendous amount of ductboard. Those are called loose sheets on pallets. And 1-inch ductboard, for example, there's 44 sheets to a pallet. So rather than constantly opening up cartons, this allows you the efficiencies from time savings, which are cost savings, to be more effective with our ductboard products. In addition to that, we do offer cartons. These are cardboard cartons, and we have put pull tabs on the top of these cartons. I can't tell you how many contractors in the field dull their ductboard knives trying to open cartons, and we're a solution provider providing these pull tabs for easy access while you're fabricating that duct. The third question, what kind of tape should I use? When dealing with ductboard fabrication, you should always use an approved UL 181 A-P pressure sensitive tape to seal, seam, and join together ductboard. A strong permanent closure is absolutely essential for the proper performance and longevity of a fiberglass duct system. The use of an unapproved closure material, however, can result in a duct system failure that none of us want to participate in. Lastly, you could pick up any of these UL 181 tapes from any local HVAC supply house. Those are pretty much stocked and readily available. Insulating flexible duct. Regarding flexible ducts, Johns Manville makes the actual insulation only, of which is a component in flexible duct systems, which helps with temperature control and thermals, acoustics, and the overall energy efficiency similar to other JM HVAC products. Furthermore, flexible ducts and the flexible duct insulation that we manufacture are flexible in nature, making it great for tapping off of a trunk line duct that Brennan discussed within a home or a light commercial building while running out to register boxes to promote proper airflow with virtually or zero air leakage to occupied spaces. Flex duct. So when looking at this slide, the picture on the right is a finished product for a flexible duct. Please note again, Johns Manville only manufactures the insulation. We do not manufacture the final assembly of this flexible duct. Regarding the assembly, however, the flexible duct is composed of an inner core with spiral reinforcing wire to help maintain the integrity of the duct during installation and throughout the life cycle of the product. As indicated earlier, we supply the fiberglass insulation. It's a formaldehyde-free product, and we use our white acrylic insulation that we manufacture, very similar to our duct wrap product. Regarding the vapor retarder jacket, the exterior jacket, this provides a reinforced vapor barrier. Now, please note, there are two different colored jackets that you can find at any supply house. You can find a silver, which is a metallic polyester jacket, or there's a black flexible duct jacket, which is a black polyethylene jacket. And finally, the length of a flexible duct can vary depending upon the application and system, but on average, they're 25 feet in length. So flexible duct FAQs. When would I use an insulated flexible duct? Please note flexible ducts are primarily used in residential or light commercial applications. In addition, you would use an insulated flexible duct as it is an efficient way to tap off from a main trunk line duct to connect to registers and diffusers in an effort to get air with minimal or zero air leakage from the HVAC system to occupied spaces within the home. As stated earlier, typical flexible ducts are on average 25 feet in length and are an easy way to quickly finish a light commercial or residential system. So where can I purchase finished flexible duct with JM Insulation? That's a great question. Johns Manville partners with two key strategic manufacturers within the flexible duct space, which includes Quiet Flex and Hart & Cooley. And again, going to those local HVAC supply houses, they typically stock flexible duct products at those locations.
So really quick, I'm going to touch on our HVAC accessories. We have just a few that we now offer. In the top left-hand corner, we have our Super Seal Edge treatment and HV products. The HV product stands for high viscosity. It's a trowelable, gap-filling type coating that goes into the duct system. Great for nicks or duct dings or gaps or scratches in the duct. And the edge treatment is for re-putting on the edge coating. So if you're cutting small pieces, you can reapply that. It's a black, liquid, paintable, sprayable coating that goes on the outside edges. We do offer a 6-inch duct insulation knife. If you're going to buy fiberglass, you're going to have to cut it at some point. So we do offer duct insulation knives. And then we have our white and black seaming tapes that match our aesthetic duct wrap offerings that Matt's going to hit on here in just a second with our new products.
You know, Brennan, I fumbled that handoff there. You'd think I played for the team up north. Regarding new JM products, as you have heard, innovation and product quality is a key focus and critical to our success here at Johns Manville. Being a solutions provider is a key differentiator for JM within the industry. Microlite Black PSK Duct Wrap. Brennan touched on this earlier, but this is a new product for Johns Manville as of 2009. And JM's new Microlite Black PSK Duct Wrap is a solution that the industry's been asking for years. This new trend in the market for that open air concept where aesthetics truly matter, look at the photo there. That project was up in the Northeast. I'm currently in Boston. That's where this project was actually. And the spiral duct there got wrapped with the Black PSK duct wrap. Could you imagine having to go back in after potentially installing FSK, silver FSK duct wrap, and having to spray that duct? That wood sealing probably wouldn't take to overspray very good. So this is a solution that, you know, Johns Manville has provided the industry. Furthermore, this product can be wiped down after installation, which is a good attribute. However, one thing to watch out, you want to make sure you don't drag or mishandle this product at a job site or at a warehouse once it's out of package, because that black coating can potentially be scratched off essentially. And lastly, the key benefit of this product, and Brennan hit this a little bit earlier, but this does not have to be painted after installation, which helps alleviate additional cost and headache and heartache to a contractor and to an end user for that matter. In addition, painting duct wrap voids your UL 2550 flame and smoke warranty. And you know, Johns Manville, there are so many paints out on the marketplace. When we go and test to get ASTM E84 approval, we test as it is in its original state from our manufacturing facility. So all the paints that are out there, we do not advise painting duct wrap. Matching black and white PSK tapes. Johns Manville's Microlite PSK tape has been designed to provide a vapor barrier seal with JM's PSK face duct wraps. Some of the key features and benefits of our PSK tapes. One, the matching scrim pattern is very critical because it matches our scrim pattern on our PSK duct wrap, which provides for a seamless appearance aesthetically once installed. It also contributes to a well-sealed vapor barrier. The tape in itself has a high-tack acrylic adhesive, which provides a long-term strong bond. The tape is also mold-resistant, it's tear-resistant, and the temperature ranges that you can use this product is anywhere from -20 degrees Fahrenheit to 260 degrees Fahrenheit. One of the key features that I like, though, is the patch and repair piece. Because the scrims match, let's say you did scratch or drag the product and there's a potential issue with a piece. You can patch and repair with this tape because the scrim matches and it provides that seamless appearance for aesthetics. But more importantly, it's a system sell approach here at Johns Manville. The PSK duct wrap, couple that with the PSK tape, it's now a solution for both the contractor and the engineer. 800 Series Spin-Glas Ultra. Johns Manville's 800 Series Spin-Glas Ultra board is a new facing offering as of April 23, 2019, that essentially is paper-free. Faced 800 Series Spin-Glas board is designed for systems that operate below ambient temperatures where vapor barrier protection is absolutely required. 800 Series Spin-Glas board is ideal for applications in commercial and industrial heating, air conditioning, power, and process equipment. Some of the key features and benefits of this product include the vapor barrier of 0.02 perms. It also provides strong acoustic absorption. At 1 inch thick, you have a 0.7 NRC. The thermal control range that comes with this product at 1 inch from a R4.3 to a 4 inch thick product at an R17.4. That's a tremendous offering there. And the temperature range for this product, you can use this product in systems, HVAC systems, up to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. That polypropylene surface provides a cleanable surface once installed, and it can easily be wiped down. And this product is moisture resistant from humidity. But lastly, I have to stress, this is a paper-free product on the marketplace, and in our segment as an insulation manufacturer, we're the only ones that have this product. R-12 insulation, the need for a new product. Where should I be using flexible R-12 duct insulation? First, it depends on where you're located on the climate zone map. If you look at the Mason-Dixon line on this map, north of that, that gets you to climate zones 5 through 8. And in climate zones 5 through 8, there's a requirement that an R-12 insulation in duct in exterior and unconditioned spaces, it needs to be utilized. However, your state and municipality has to adopt and begin enforcing the 2015 International Energy Conservation Code, the IECC. So I want to reiterate that last point. Again, the 2015 IECC code requires ducts in exterior and unconditioned spaces in climate zones 5 through 8 to be installed with an R-12 insulation. To the next slide, please. And I just stated that there. So where can I buy a flexible R-12 duct insulation? I'm a contractor looking for this product on the market. You know, earlier in the year and in 2018, it was a big problem because it wasn't available until now. Until now, there hasn't been a flexible R-12 insulation solution within the industry. Johns Manville came out with two in 2019, essentially. The first one, our R-12 Microlite Duct Wrap. This product's 4.4 inches thick. It's readily available at all of our manufacturing facilities and in stock at our supply houses that we partner with. This product is formaldehyde-free from a binder perspective, and we do offer the white acrylic fiberglass insulation around duct wrap. So what does that mean to you, Mr. Engineer or contractor? We make this product on the same line that we make bats and rolls. Bats and rolls go into wall cavities, and they need to be pretty thick and substantial to maintain the integrity within that wall cavity. So with that, our white acrylic duct wrap, you're going to get good recovery with that insulation, which means after installation, you're going to maintain your R value on that duct. Also, this product provides great thermals and condensation control. The second product, our LINACOUSTIC RC duct liner, this is a 3-inch product that we came out with the market. We're seeing a good uptick in sales on. This product is also readily available. Remember when I indicated the NRC at 1 is pretty much perfect absorption. The NRCs on this product is 1.05. Johns Manville offers multiple liner SKUs with this product in different widths, and that's important because sheet metal shops, there's different connections and different setups and different applications that they manufacture, and we offer every width for those solutions. We manufacture this product with our pot and marble process, which means you're going to maintain your density distribution of 3 inch throughout the length and the width of the roll. And again, what does that mean to you, Mr. Sheet Metal Shop or end user? That means you're going to maintain your R value throughout that duct, and it's going to be an R-12 because the density distribution with Johns Manville's pot and marble process. Lastly, our RC liner has that exclusive Permacoat foam acrylic coating on the Airstream side, which is going to help with that Airstream surface for long term. So with that, I mean, due to energy codes constantly changing, we at Johns Manville have a complete R-12 portfolio. The 800 series Spin-Glas board we discussed meets an R-12 at 3 inches thick. The Microlite duct wrap that we just discussed meets an R-12 at 4.4 inches thick. The LINACOUSTIC RC liner meets R-12 at 3 inches thick. and the LINACOUSTIC R300 liner board meets an R13 at 3 inches thick. Lastly, in the top right there's an X-Spec ISO foam board. This product meets an R12 at 2 inches thick, which is, that's pretty significant. So what does that mean to you, Mr. Engineer or Contractor? Because there's a specific application this product is utilized in. This product is a closed cell product, by the way. It's a polyiso foam product with double layer foil on both sides of the board. It's a very durable and rigid product. This X-Spec product provides a moisture resistant vapor barrier that is being used more and more to insulate rooftop ducts because of its R12 nature at 2 inches thick and its overall durability. I can't stress enough, we are seeing a tremendous uptick in sales around this product. It's not only being spec'd more and more within the marketplace, and it's being spec'd because we have a data sheet that calls out exclusively rooftop duct application for this product. If you'd like more information or details around X-Spec, I challenge you to go to our website and look at our webinar section. There's a webinar titled Insulating Ducts in Exterior and Unconditioned Spaces that discusses Johns Manville's complete R12 portfolio, but also the X-Spec board. And Kim, on to you.
Thanks, Matt. Well, given that we came right up to the hour, I'm going to go ahead and jump into questions, and we'll skip over the additional resources. We'll probably go about 10 minutes on questions here because we did get quite a few coming in. So if you have any questions at this point, now is a great time to submit them. But starting with the first question, Brennan, that's going to go to you, and that is, does JM have anyone who can help us review our existing specifications?
Yeah, that's a great question. We have 18 MDMs or market development managers out in the market space that all have a geographical region. They're happy to come in and work with you guys around updating your specs or changing those specs and getting them up to snuff. We have all of our master specs online. They can help you as well. And at our technical resource line, John Elverum, who mans that for us, does a great job of helping reset and rewrite those specs as well.
Excellent, thank you. So Matt or Brennan, I'll pose this to both of you. Can you review when and why you would specify a different density of insulation? So we talked about Microlite, which has various densities, and we talked about duct board, which has various densities. Why would you use different densities for varied applications?
I'll take that one, Matt. So relative to duct wrap, right? So one of the common things that you see with going to 1 pound or pound and a half, one of the common things, at least that I've seen, is especially when you're wrapping a rectangular duct and getting around those corners and the compression at those corners, and as you add glass to that duct wrap product, it just keeps the contractor from over pulling it or tightening it too much or compressing that too much at a lot of those corners. That's one of the main reasons that I see a 1 pound or pound and a half duct wrap specified in a lot of applications. Some of it you get a little bit higher R value as well, but usually the type 150, I think at 2 inch thick is somewhere around 6.5 off the top of my head, but it's a lot for just the job site installation.
Okay. Are there installation details that you can download?
Yeah, so depending on the product that you're looking for, we have a lot of resources online at the source at jm.com. We have a lot of places that you can look. We have a lot of educational videos. We have Blue Volt modules. Not only that, but NEMA is a tremendous resource at their website, as well as SMACTA. There's lots of places to get resources around installation of the products.
All right, excellent. Are your materials compliant with energy conservation standards like ASHRAE 90.1?
Yes, we are. So we manufacture all of our products to meet the code, given whatever climate region that you're in. As Matt talked about, the R12, you know, that's one of the new things that's out in the 2015 IECC. So that's why we have added some of that product in there to make sure that we meet and are code compliant with our products.
Excellent. And Matt, I think you talked about this, but did you say that Johns Manville makes their own FSK, or do we just apply it to the products?
You know, we are vertically integrated with a lot of our products. From our pipe insulation, we actually make our own ASJ jacket on that product. The FSK facing, we manufacture that out of Hamilton, our Hamilton plant in Virginia. And our glass mat material, we manufacture that in-house as well. So we are very, very vertically integrated so that we can control the quality across the board with our products.
Excellent. Brennan, do your competitors have a similar coating to Permacoat? The government requires that we submit 3 competitors.
No, we are the only ones that apply a Airstream surface coating to our Airstream surface. We're the only ones that have the proprietary coated Airstream surface, and we're the only ones that actually apply it. Everyone else has a regular standard glass mat, so we are the only ones with that permacoat coating.
Okay. How does the rigid ductboard insulation get installed around the seams of two joining pieces of ductwork?
So I'm assuming that's a question relative to like a Spin-Glas board product where you're bringing it together over like a joint or a TDC joint. That's what I'm assuming for. Do you interpret that question any differently, Matt?
I think you're going to butt the pieces together because Spin-Glas board comes in 2-foot by 4-foot sheets, and essentially as you're putting that on the duct, you're going to butt those together, tape it, and you're going to also mastic that to get a vapor barrier seal. Yep,
I would agree with you on that.
All right. Can you talk a little bit about the fire safety of our HVAC products?
Yeah, so all of our products meet the 2550 ASTM E84 flame and smoke spread rating. We also test our duct liner to the NFPA 90A, 90B ratings, I believe, internal lining methods on the fire side. None of our products flame or smoke or burn outside of the expect polyisofoam, which is why it is not 2550 rated. That product has to stay on the outside of the building envelope for rooftop specific applications. We make that very clear on all of our application guides for that product.
All right. What's the difference between installed R value and out of package R value?
You want to take that, Matt, or do you want me to hit that one?
I mean, you're on a roll, sir. I want you to breathe, but you can keep rolling, man.
Sure. So the out of package R is the value of the uncompressed fiberglass. So if you were to open up a roll of duct wrap, lay it flat, and test the thermals of that product, uncompressed, that is the out of package R. The in package R, or the installed R, is once you compress that product to 25% of the insulation thickness, that gives you the installed R value. So two very different pieces there. Really, you want to reference the installed R value when you're looking at duct wrap.
Excellent.
Hey, Kim?
Yes. Yes.
I'd like to add to the density question you asked a few back. Essentially, and I know Brennan talked about it, but if there's a lot of engineers on the phone call here, I would like you guys to understand, historically in the past, 3-pound density liner used to be a big deal. The liner has improved over the years, and with that, our standard 1.5-pound product meets and exceeds the features and benefits of 3-pound density liner. So we see a lot of specifications out there that are old specifications that need to be updated, which we can help you with if you let us know, and we can help you rewrite those specifications. But ultimately, what does that help? You as the end user of the building. I mean, going from a 3-pound to a 1.5-pound product, there's going to be labor savings, cost savings. It's a win-win for everyone involved.
All right, awesome. Our next question is, how do you adhere the spiral, I'm assuming Spiracoustic Plus, into a metal duct?
Sure. So Spiracoustic Plus is self-supporting. There's no need for glue or mechanical fastening up to, I want to say it's 36-inch diameter. Don't quote me on that. I'd have to go back and look at the data sheet to make sure. But once you get over a certain diameter, then we recommend using pins to mechanically fasten it and hold it into place. But for the smaller duct applications, the typical 12s or 14s, 16s, it's all a slip fit. It slides in, self-supports itself. It pops in place and holds itself in the duct itself.
All right, excellent. And our final question. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Matt.
Real quick, Kim, sorry to butt in here. We actually had this application of Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. They had 86-inch duct. We used 3 pieces of Spiracoustic, taped it together. And I will tell you, now it's 4-foot, Brennan, on when you need to pin it. Once you hit 4 foot, based on the negative pressure, you got to pin that duct. But I will tell you, the 86-inch duct, when we slid the Spiracoustic in, that friction fit at 86 inches. The guys installing it couldn't even move it, and they were exerting all they had force-wise to try to move the product after it being installed, and it wouldn't move. There truly is a tremendous friction fit with that product.
Excellent. Thank you, Matt. Finally, our final question, and that is, I'm interested in details or installation/product solutions that reduce the risk of condensation from cold ducts that pass through unconditioned spaces. What would you recommend?
Sure. So you would for sure ideally you want to use a product that has a vapor barrier, something that controls the condensation, obviously. So you'd ideally want to look at a duct wrap solution or a duct board solution, depending on what you're looking at there. But that vapor barrier and that condensation control piece around the FSK really is what you would want to look for in that application.
All right, excellent.
And Kim, with that, I mean, that R-12 insulation, that 4.4 duct wrap, what's critical about that product that Johns Manville has introduced to the market, in the past, a contractor would have to get to that R-12 and they would take 2 3/4 pound FSK duct wraps and put one on top of the other. Now, are you taking that inner FSK facing off? Because what you don't want is a double vapor barrier. So, you know, that's critical, that vapor barrier. But, you know, Johns Manville with our R-12 products, you know, we're trying to offer solutions to the industry.
Excellent. Thank you, Matt. So there are a couple questions that we weren't able to get to today, but given the time constraints on us, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you, everyone, for attending. You will have a certificate of completion in your inbox by Friday. And if you have any questions or would like some information about the additional resources, you can let us know in our survey, at the follow-up survey that will show up on your screen as soon as you close out of this webinar. And then on top of that, we will be following up with you individually if we didn't answer your question today live. So thank you very much for your time, everybody, and happy holidays. I hope they are safe and festive.